Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu and John McTavish. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
So today we are talking about the Gurkha Cellar Reserve 15-year 10th anniversary. It is a Toro 6x52. Lots of undisclosed information about the cigar. No country of origin, factory, or blender. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Rosado. Binder and filler are both from Nicaragua. Price point is a hefty $14, and the cigar was released in September of 2017. So with all the info out of the way, June, what was your smoking experience like?
Smoking experience, it's pretty generic. So, meaning within all the notes I tasted, it wasn't anything that really popped out at me. It was very like general kind of cigar notes. So specifically, dry wood, some general generic spice going on. Within all of these notes, it's tough for me to ID exactly what it is. So I just kind of say general wood spice notes. Retrohaling is probably the best part. Some sort of redemption factor, I guess you could say, to the cigar, because it gave me more specific notes of like black pepper, nuts, even a little bit of a subtle stone fruit coming through. Finish really heavy on the tongue with spice, rear palate and the rear palate, and then I started getting quite a bit of dry wood as well. Strength and body medium. So that's kind of like the first. That was basically how the whole cigar was, just very general. Getting into construction, the burn was uh, pretty shitty. So ton of tunneling, really like just wrapper burn was just not going at it. So I had to touch it up so many times. I lost count. I started jotting it down. After a while, I was like, you know what, screw it, no use in jotting it down anymore. So
You got counting the days to get out of jail, right?
yeah,
Just marking
pretty
them off on the
much.
wall.
Best part within all of this was the draw. The draw was amazing. Airflow resistance was just on point. So overall, it was a kind of overall generic general kind of experience for me.
How about you, John?
Well, I would say the prelate on the cigar was the best part of the experience. It's got a beautiful band on it. It's got a milk chocolate wrapper. The veins are pressed. It's got some interesting aromas of leather, cedar, baking spices, and sort of an intense baking spice out of the foot. But in the first third, like June was saying, it was all right. There's a little bit of toasted graham cracker through the retrohale, which, if you're not retrohaling the cigar, you're going to be pretty bored. Little light white pepper, some baking spices, some bready notes, some dry cedar, some light plus cocoa. But none of those flavors really sort of rocked the boat for me. They were just kind of there. And then in the second third, all that disappears. So you get some char. There's no cocoa, there's no graham. I get maybe a vegetal, but I feel like I was reaching for that. And then, maybe a little bit of cedar, but like cedar is not going to support the complexity within a cigar. And then last third, same thing, cedar and char, and so not a great experience. You don't often see me crap all over cigar for construction, but here's a great opportunity for all the Gurkha haters out there. This is a badly constructed cigar. While the ash held on in 1.5 inch increments, which should have meant that this cigar burned really well, it did not burn well. And like June, I stopped counting the number of relights at the third relight. If I have 3 relights on your cigar, this is, I rated it as subpar, and I realize in retrospect I probably should have rated it as the lowest possible score because I had to do touch ups as well. So that's kind of on me. I feel like, I rated it subpar, but it's actually should be the lowest rating because 3 relights and touch ups, your cigar is not good. That being said, the draw was good. So that was all right. Although leaning towards the open spectrum, which again is not really my thing, there's really no issue. Yeah, what about you, Aaron?
I thought it started out pretty interesting. Wood, creamy coffee, baking spice, black pepper. Cream really started picking up as the cigar was going along and as coffee dropped out. Retrohale, as you said, is important. Musty wood with a little bit of baking spice. As the first order was coming to close, that creamy wood kind of gained a slight sweetness to it, while the baking spice and black pepper kind of remained in the background. Second, third, things start to drop off. Abundance of creamy woods present. Baking spice, black pepper combination really faint. A little bit further than this, a little bit of bitterness joins in. And as the third's coming to a close, some mustiness joins that creamy wood and the bitterness. A musty note always also joined the retrohale. Final third, kind of going along at the same clip. About 1.5 inches in, the cigar begins to warm up, bring some mintiness to the profile. Cigar kind of finishes out with that same profile, the creamy, the musty wood, slight amount of bitterness and mintiness to it. And strength kind of kept itself at the slightly above medium mark the entire way for me. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with the bad burn. I fought it the entire way. A combination of a large number of touch-ups and frequent draws to kind of keep the cigar burning and going along. So pretty common theme with all of us. But I also thought the draw was pretty good. Slightly tighter than I prefer, but it didn't cause any issues with the smoking experience. So, just a small complaint there in regards to how tight it was. So overall, Jiunn, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was pretty, general, mundane, unrefined, off balance. So it's interesting. I talked quite a bit about wood notes and generic spice notes, but those aren't necessarily bad tasting notes. It's just that for this cigar, it almost felt like I was component tasting, meaning I was tasting like burritos of both of those cigars. Like one cigar was like really woody, another one was just like pure spice. It didn't really like meld together very well for me. So average taste, horrible burn. $14. It is not recommended.
How about you, John?
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about price, but Jim brings up a good point. I mean, it's not a bad cigar. I mean, it doesn't do other than the construction, which was really awful. It's just exactly what, if you Google average cigar, this is going to be an average cigar. It presents nice. It's got a nice pre-light. The draw is great. But that's the only good thing about the cigar. Other than that, it kind of starts out like it's going to do something and then just falls right on its face, which is extremely disappointing. And I think, if you take away the burn issues, then you've got average plus cigar maybe.
Yeah, I thought the flavor profile started, pretty good, but the burn was off from the start. As the cigar progressed, the flavor profile and the burn both went downhill. I'm sure it's, all part of a product of that bad burn and constant relights and touch-ups and things like that. That's never going to help the flavors in a cigar. I'm a little bit of a masochist, so I'd be willing to try another one if it had a better burn just to see what it would do. Outside of revisiting it for that reason, I don't have any reason to go back to this. I mean, $14 and this is the experience you get. It's not not something that's gonna want you to go for a second round. So I don't know. So getting the scores, John, you gave it the highest at 5.70. Jiunn, you were next at 5.35, and I gave it a 4.83. So John, what were your overall? I think that matched up with your overall thoughts.
So I think that's an error from my part. I think I really should have scored construction 1 point lower. To me, this is a cigar that, in my mind, on our scoring should be about 5.3, because it does have a first third that is good. It's going somewhere, but everything else in this is average, and the construction is terrible. So to me, that 5.7 really should be around a 5.3.
How about you, Jiunn?
I think John is a secret Gurkha fanboy.
Smoke Gurkha. It's the Rolls Royce of the cigars.
Yes,
Rolls Royce.
No, it's in line with my expectations. I mean, the way I kind of think about it is, all right, you smoke through all these cigars and you review all these cigars throughout the year. At the end of the day, what's going to hit my top 25, right? Because everything else, it doesn't really matter, right? It all kind of like gets jumbled in. So within that population of that jumble, like below 25, top 25, this is definitely on the bottom of the list of that. I haven't smoked this, I guess, for lack of a better word, bad of a tasting profile in quite some time. So, within that score range, it's fine. It's not going to go anywhere in my top list. It never will. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, my score matches up well. I mean, overall, it was an average flavor profile. I kind of went good, average, subpar, and then the burn just really took it over, and I rated it subpar overall. So that the burn just really put a damper on the whole thing. Like, you can't enjoy yourself if you're just going at it all the time. I think I have to send Gurkha invoice for a bottle of butane, but just not something that I really enjoyed. But one thing John mentioned was the band. I think this is probably one of the cigars that we have the best photos of. For some reason, this cigar just photographs really well.
Yeah, the colors, I think, maybe allow the camera to focus better. And maybe that's where $9 of that $14 is going for, is that high gloss, double stamp, foil band.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
You guys have any other final thoughts on the cigar?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you're a tobacconist and you're selling a customer, even if they're a Gurkha freak, a $14 Gurkha, and they have the experience we had today, you might lose a customer. I mean, even at $7, this is not even a good, an average $7 cigar. There's so many other $7 average cigars out there that are better than this. So if you sold somebody this for $14, man, that would be a bad time for your shop.
Yep, agreed.
But most Gurkhas are discounted by like 90%. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, you are getting a $65 cigar for 14, so it's not a bad deal.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.